morning. Welcome to JoyNews Desk. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Coming up this morning, Minerals Commission rejects and deletes from its online register an application by a company seeking a license to mine in the Kakum National Park. More, as the Commission says, it will not give clearance for any form of mining to take place in that park. Also, tobacco industry found to be frustrating implementation of sin tax. How can it be checked? We have a conversation ahead of the 2024 budget presentation. And later, I will tell you about the global call to deal effectively and decisively with plastic waste in the wake of its devastating effects on marine life and the environment. We have details plus more and business coming up shortly. Please stay for the details. The Minerals Commission says it has rejected and deleted from its online register an application by a company seeking a license to mine in the Kakum National Park. In a statement signed by its chief executive officer, the Commission said it will not give clearance for any form of mining to take place in the Kakum National Park. Let's look at the details of that statement, and it's right there on your screen. It says the attention of the Minerals Commission has been drawn to publications on social media that civil society organizations in the country have vehemently kicked against the attempt by a mining firm to mine in the Kakum National Park in the Central Region. According to the CSOs, the move follows an application by the High Street Limited to the Minerals Commission for a license to mine in the Kakum National Park. The Commission wishes to inform the CSOs and the public that the application by High Street Limited was rejected and therefore cannot be processed or considered whatsoever. Consequently, the Commission has deleted the application from the online mining. The Commission wishes to assure the public no mineral right, whether for prospecting or mining, shall be considered or granted in the Kakum National Park. And it's signed by Chief Executive Officer Martin Kweku Eyisi. I have been joined by Dr. Mustafa Saidu. He is the Executive Director of Nature and Development Foundation. Thank you so much, sir, for your time this morning. I want us to look more into this claim of licensing to mine in the Kakum National Park.
Yes, good morning.
Right. So, Doc, first, what do you make of a company having the audacity, if I may put it, to actually ask for a license to mine at the Kakum National Park?
Yes, Aisha, is very worrying because this application by the company is grounded under a new regulation that was passed in November last year. It's called Environmental Protection Mining and Forest Reserve Regulations, LI 2462, that allows mining in all forest reserves, with few exceptions. So it just tells you that all the forest reserves in this country, including the Kakum National Park, can be put under mining. And so we are not surprised that a company has actually applied for that. The audacity, like you put it, or to even think about applying for a mining lease in the Kakum National Park is worrying. It just tells you that there is no forest reserve in this country that is protected from mining. Every forest reserve is a candidate mining site under these new regulations.
This reminds us, of the bigger picture of how well we are protecting our forest reserves. And you rightly indicated what ideally should have been the situation.
So we know, and I said this in before, we already have enough in our hands with respect to illegal mining in off-reserve, in forest reserve. For governments to add to this problem by opening up forest reserve for mining is unfortunate, to say the least. So for me, and what we are asking for as civil society is for government to reconsider this law, amend it or repeal it totally. I think we have enough land outside forest reserves where we can mine. To think that the few areas that are reserved for forest reserves, for the protection of water bodies, for providing permit for cocoa, should also be given out for mining, is very challenging to understand the reasoning behind it. And so we think that we don't need to mine in our forest reserve. Forest reserve need to be protected. There's a reason for reserving those forest reserves, and we need to protect them as such and maintain them under perpetual forest cover and not open them for mining. Indeed, if we open them for mining, I can tell you for a fact that we will have a difficulty ever putting those areas back to forest, because once you're opening them up, you're opening them, the rules and everything for the illegal guys to go in, and they will ever remain there. And then you will never have a chance of bringing any forest. In fact, when you take natural forest, there is no any artificial resemblance to natural forest you can ever have there. And for me, if we're doing underground mining, that's okay. But to do an open cast mining in forest reserve, they are never compatible with sustainable forest management, and they cannot go together.
I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Mustafa Yusuf is with the Nature and Development Foundation. He is the executive director. Let's get on to other stories. The government of Ghana is calling for sustainable ways of ensuring that we deal with plastics in our country. It says that all over the world, negotiations are there to formulate an internationally binding law aimed at tackling plastic pollution. Ghana continues to grapple with what experts describe as a plastic menace, as an estimated 86% of the country's waste plastic load, and it's improperly disposed, resulting in plastic clogging up storm water drains and rivers. Aside from its contribution to perennial flooding, plastic waste also affects marine life and poses danger to the global fight to tackle climate change. Head of Diplomatic Affairs Desk, Blessed Soga, is in Nairobi, where the negotiations open today. He joins us live. Blessed, is this law seeking to ban plastics?
Well, Aisha, I hope you can hear me. And we are right here at the United Nations headquarters in Kenya, where the intergovernmental negotiations on plastics has started. Now, what you need to know is that the building that you find right next to us is where countries all over the world are gathered and are having conversations on how to deal with this plastic menace. Here in Ghana, I should say, we know that plastics has been a major hurdle for the country, giving its associated issues of pollution and its interconnected issues of how government is unable to effectively manage the waste. Is the reason for which these negotiations are ongoing. Ghana has been leading the fight and stating its position on this matter here in Kenya, leading the group of African nations that are calling for sustainable production of plastics, and also associated with it is the need to have an effective management system. So that conference has started, officially opened by Kenya's President William Ruto, who was here earlier today to introduce what the Kenyan version and position on this matter has been. Technically, the draft would have to be adopted by all member states. And of course, that would then lead to how fine-tuned this piece of document would be. We do not know if it will go to the extent of banning it, except to say that there's a united call amongst all member states here calling for drastic measures to tackle this plastic menace. We can listen to Kenya's President, William Ruto, who addressed the gathering earlier today.
Well, we'll be getting to hear the Kenyan president on that. But Blessed, before that, what has been Ghana and Africa's position at large?
Ghana is representing the Africa Group, leading that charge of developing nations who say that they, acknowledge, the kind of jobs, the kind of opportunities that this whole plastic industry, presents to its growing population and to tackling the issues of job creation. However, they are pointing out very clearly that they would need a more sustainable way of tackling the issue because it's, posing danger to marine life, and there will be a need for some laws in the coming days to tackle that.
Right, Blessed Soga is with the Diplomatic Affairs Desk. We can now hear Ghana's position on this.
Deliberate on plastic pollution. As a region, we embrace the comprehensive life cycle approach to prevent plastic pollution. On chemicals, polymers, and problematic plastics, the Africa Group calls for sustainable consumption and production of primary plastic and eliminating specific problematic polymers, chemicals, products, and applications of concern. Africa calls for measures for full transparency and information disclosure along the entire plastic value chain. On the just transition, Africa acknowledges that implementing the future instrument may lead to job and livelihood losses, as well as other socio-economic impacts along the plastic value chain. Therefore, as a group, we call for this instrument to take into account the national circumstances and ensure a fair, equitable, and inclusive transition for affected populations with special consideration for people in vulnerable situations, especially women, children, the youth, and waste pickers. On waste management and legacy plastic pollution, the Africa Group calls for an instrument that operationalizes the waste hierarchy by prioritizing waste prevention and reduction before recycling and management. We further call for effective measures that ensure environmentally sound waste management practices at different stages, namely the handling, collection, transportation, storage, recycling, and final disposal. The instrument should include effective measures to ensure cleanup and remediation of legacy pollution in all environments. On the financing mechanism, Chair, the Africa Group stresses the need for a new dedicated multilateral fund to provide the necessary, predictable, sustainable, and adequate financial resources for countries in need to meet their commitments under the future instrument. The multilateral fund should be the vehicle for providing financial assistance to recipient countries on a grant basis for enabling activities and the incremental cost. On capacity building, development, and infrastructure, the Africa Group wishes to emphasize the need of advanced infrastructure.
And now, a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive. And today's forecast, expect a steady breeze with a 100% chance of twisting down those country back roads gleefully on your motorcycle. Some will want you, others will want to be you, and animals everywhere will yearn for opposable thumbs just to work that throttle like you do. Oh, nature's cruel design. That's your forecast. Back to you.
This has been a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive, where every day's a beautiful day to ride with 24/7 roadside assistance from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Roadside assistance subject to policy terms and limits and may require comprehensive coverage.
Structures and institutional capacity building and development for African countries to effectively implement the future treaty. On research, innovation, awareness, and education, the Africa Group calls for an instrument that facilitates information and knowledge exchange, international cooperation, and coordinating best available science on sustainable consumption and production, research and technologies, and indigenous knowledge. On private sector and stakeholder engagement, the Africa Group encourages parties to promote actions that will stimulate
The prevalence of non-communicable diseases in Ghana is worrisome, killing over 94,000 Ghanaians annually, rendering others disabled, with many children lacking basic needs of food, shelter, and education. To arrest this, government has put in place policies for the control of tobacco use, including tobacco taxation. There's been recommendations by ECOWAS and WHO as cost-effective interventions for preventing and controlling NCDs. My colleague Jacqueline Yaboa brings us her interactions with smokers and tobacco product dealers.
Well, there's been a lot of talk on the use of tobacco in Ghana, talking about the detrimental effect it has on our system, and also currently the price increase on tobacco in Ghana. Currently I'm with a couple of tobacco users and also one of the owners here who also sells it, to have a conversation with them when it comes to the taxes, the fact that now there are more taxes on these items, but still the consumption seems to increase, and the fact that there are detrimental effects, but still they continue to consume it. So let me just start my conversation with them. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I'm doing very fine.
Yes, please.
Okay. My first question: you taking cigarettes?
Yes, of course, I take cigarette.
All right. So why? Because I can see smoking causes rotten teeth. It damages your unborn child. It doesn't let others smoke. It causes a whole lot. But why do you still take it?
Yes, as you rightly said, it is written there. But we've been taking it since long, and it is something that boosts my immune system. Somebody can take something to build his immune system.
It boosts your immune system?
Yes, I like tobacco. Whatever you write there, I don't care. After all, even the current government taxes here, taxes there, taxes wherever, but everybody is moving on. You cannot stop even the government on power not to impose taxes on certain things, but he's doing it. So if a group called itself has come out to say that they are putting on taxes on cigarette or tobacco, it's a welcoming news. That wouldn't deter us from taking tobacco. Tobacco has been part and parcel of us, and it is with us. We will never leave tobacco. No matter how much they increase it, we will smoke tobacco. Even if they put it 100%, we will still smoke tobacco, because tobacco is part and parcel of us.
Yeah. How long have you been taking tobacco?
If I'm not mistakenly, I started tobacco when I was 16 years.
Wow.
Tobacco, yes, 16 years.
And how old are you now?
I'm now 48.
That's a very long time.
Yes.
But doesn't it have any effect on your body?
I've never been to hospital, and my doctor has proven that tobacco has an effect on me. I have no.
So you as for you, dear, no side effect on your body?
My doctor have not proven it yet, so I still that I'm okay.
So I have another gentleman here who also you take into.
I take tobacco.
Okay. Now, how long have you been taking this?
Let's say about 5 years. Let's say 5 years. Yeah, exactly 5 years.
The side effect that they talk about, I see a lot causing breathing issues. Have you experienced any of them?
I know how this is caused, but I have not experienced everything about it. Like, and I don't have any effect about it. And
you are very fine. You're okay.
I'm okay. Right now, I'm going to take some right now.
I see. Now, there are taxes. The big conversation is there are taxes.
They have to take the tax on it, because this thing is killing people, plenty people. So how can I put a tax on it? Then that means you are not going to buy again.
Oh, if they still continue the tax, you are going to stop?
I will stop, because I cannot.
Don't you think that would benefit the government?
Then I don't have a problem. I don't care.
So you stop?
I will stop, so that I will be free.
Let me come to you. Have been taking it for long. If the taxes increases, are you going to stop?
I will never stop it, because I know what it does to my system. I love tobacco. I love tobacco. Tobacco of any kind, I love it.
Auntie, and even if They said they are going to sell tobacco, one stick, 20 cedis, and I thought to buy it, I'll go and buy it.
That brings me to the taxes. The conversation is that taxes have been imposed on these. You know, it used to be called sin tax.
No, why? You go continue smoke.
Why wouldn't you? So, don't you think it's putting a lot of weight in your pocket? Because you are then spending a lot to get that item.
Gold Coast time now, car price was low. By now, the car price was up. But still, we are buying car.
So regardless. Okay, all right. So just as you heard from these gentlemen that I've been speaking to, regardless of the taxes that are being imposed, high prices of tobacco in Ghana, regardless, they are still going to continue to take it. But some are also of the opinion that when it keeps on increasing, they would have to probably resort to other means or quit and not buy the tobacco anymore. Right here, I am Jacqueline Asuma Yeboah reporting for Joy News.
Well, according to a research finding by Vision for Alternative Development in Ghana, the tobacco industry's influence in the implementation of the excise duty amendment law passed by Parliament last year. Director of Programs at Vision for Alternative Development, Labaran Musa, joins me on Zoom with more. Labaran, good to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
How did your research conclude that tobacco industry is influencing the implementation of the excise duty amendment law passed by Parliament last year?
Right, so thank you very much for having me. I know we've had a couple of engagement even on your network prior to the passage of the excise duty amendment bill, Act 1093. Yes, so you notice that throughout the process, there were a lot of activities that actually went on. And one of the things that actually the public health community were very mad at is the fact that even before the bill was passed into law, you also the drama that happened in Parliament where it has to go through voting before a public health act or a public health intervention could go through, successfully before it got passed. So the point for us is we actually have to embark on, some study to understand, to what extent, the industry, got involved in all of this. Now, you wouldn't find clearly a very direct, influence or a direct lobbying, but activities like, media engagement, drumming home the fact that, the taxes, would lead to, job losses, and the fact that the government is overburdening the people with taxes. And then we also cite some documents that were sent to the various sector ministries, urging them not to kind of add taxes to tobacco products or other unhealthy products. So in fact, all of this, including the fact that we also had some civil society organizations who were also fronting for the tobacco industry by also, joining the chorus, and then also advocating for the fact that one, there's a tax increment on tobacco products or other unhealthy products like tobacco and alcohol, and then SSB. It will lead to a lot of things, like I mentioned. They also mentioned illicit tobacco, and then also smuggling, and then the fact that, like I mentioned, governments are burdening the people, and that there's a need for government to restrain from adding more tax or adding more burden to people. But we all know that this product, this excise tax that was proposed by the Ministry of Finance was actually, a corrective tax. That's how we call it. It's called a health promotional tax. It's also called an excise tax because, it does so many things, including the fact that it reduces exposure and accessibility to children, who are mostly the target of the industry. And I say this because me and you currently, if we decide not to smoke, there's no way we're going to smoke. So the target has always been our children, the young ones who are coming up, because definitely these are the targets who they could always, target with their product. And that's the reason why you see that these products were very cheap in the market. Last year, they were very cheap in the market. So anybody that can access, exposing our youth and our children to the product.
So
what's your recommendation? Yes, so let me just add that. Listen to the conversation that went on with the smoker. You notice that most of them started smoking at a very young age. And we also have to assess their level of income and how are they able to care for their family and then the young ones and even their children. The point is this: once they become hooked, and it's called a nicotine that is found in the product. That's why these people cannot stop smoking and they'll continue to smoke. So the point for us is government putting measures like increasing taxes, because the taxes that were levied on the product, for us, we think that it's not punitive enough. Government need to up the taxes, if possible, increase it to by, maybe another 50%, so that we can have the raw impact that we want. Because at the end of it all, people who smoke would have some complication. The person have chronic conditions like we are currently facing. Our renal center have been closed down because of the number of people who continuously go to the hospital because of kidney problems, because of lung problems, because of heart failures, and because of this product. So government need to really look at many interventions, including the fact that taxes are one of the best that many countries are imposing on their products, just so we can reduce exposure to children, improve public health, and then also ensure that at least we get revenue so that people who continue to smoke, at least we said they can be compensated, because no matter what you do, you get problems. So once you get sick, at least the money that have been accrued, government should set aside at least earmark a percentage, if not all the funding, to support healthcare and go to chronic diseases like the renal center, the center at Kolebu, where diabetes and hypertension people are suffering heart disease. So at least these funds can go there to support people who are suffering from this kind of diseases. So that's our appeal to government.
I'm grateful for your time. Labaran Musa is the program's director at Vision for Alternative Development Ghana. Now let's get into this conversation that started during the weekend. A section of the Ghanaian public are backing the push to cap the number of ministers, deputies, as well as constituencies in the country. It follows a Constitutional Review Consultative Committee's proposal to cap the number of ministers at 25 and the removal of all deputy and regional ministers as part of a comprehensive constitutional reform. Listen to Chair of the Constitutional Review Consultative Committee, Clara Berry Kasati, and a member of the committee, Anthony Forson Jr. They spoke on Newsfile.
Even talking about removal of all deputy ministers.
Really?
Yes.
What's the basis for that suggestion?
We are cutting down the size of government.
So we cap the ministers. Our recommendation is to cap ministers at 25.
25.
Not more than 25. Ghana doesn't need more than 25 ministers to run.
Interesting.
Revolutionary.
25 ministers.
Yes. No deputy ministers.
No deputies.
No. And it's capped.
Yes.
It's not in a situation like where Akufo-Addo, surprised all of us. 126 ministers.
25.
Yeah.
And constituencies too should be capped. Now we have already have
275 with the possibility of 276 with SAL.
Exactly.
Yes. And there has been a debate that we have known for a long while now that people were actually lacing their boots for a total of 25 new constituencies to be created.
The EC has come out to say that
yes, I get it.
Only one.
Yes, I get it. Yeah. You are saying it should be capped.
It should be capped. We don't need more than 277 constituencies.
So for Parliament, you are not asking for a reduced number. You want it to stay at where it is.
It's almost impossible. It will be very difficult to reduce it. If we say that let's reduce it, the acrimony. So which one will be the lesser evil? Cap it.
Cap it. But the interesting point is the deputy ministers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All will go.
Why?
Regional ministers too, all will go.
Oh.
Reacting to the development, some citizens who interacted with JoyNews said the proposal, when implemented, will go a long way to cut down public expenditure while addressing the age-old corruption canker in the country.
The 25 as being proposed, it's not a bad deal, but we need to get the right people. 25 people can even cause more damage than, let's say, the over 200 that we have at the moment. So if they're 25, they are competent enough and they are less corrupt, I think it will go a long way to help us, because looking at the current number we have, it comes with a lot of expenditure. They have their personal assistants. It's a whole lot. So in my view, I think the numbers doesn't matter most, but let's get the right people who have the country at heart.
Still is too much. But if that is what they will stand for it, okay, let's say every government that's come to power, not more than 25 ministers. If you can make it less, then make it less. But don't go above 25. You see? Because, I mean, look at what is going on in this country. Things are falling apart, and then you have almost 100+ ministers, and then you are calling yourself a president. People are complaining, you are not listening to them, and you are still keeping those ministers.
They should reduce them. Even to me, 20 will be okay, because previously they weren't up to the current number, and things were quite going on well, but recently now things are not even going on well. They should reduce them. Some are not even doing their work. As said, I think they should reduce the number.
Well, I've been joined by Dr. Asas Hunter. He's a senior political science lecturer of the Political Science Department at the University of Ghana. Doc, I'm grateful for your time. You've been advocating for this for quite some time now. It must come as a relief.
Good news. I'm happy, and I take consolation in the fact that people are listening, the think tanks and all that. You remember, we've done discussion on this, yourself, your good self, Blessed and all that, where I talked about that. We need 19. I will go down, because my proposal is that let's have 19. If you read the Constitution, it tells us that we have a minimum of 10 and maximum of 19 ministers, cabinet ministers. Remember, cabinet is made up of senior-most ministers who assist the head of state to take important decisions in the state. So if you look at all the rest of the ministers, very serious issues are discussed with cabinet. So we don't need the rest of the ministers. That's why I have argued over the period that we need 19. When you get the 19, then out of the 19, you take 16 who would double as regional ministers. So 16 of them will be regional ministers at the same time ministers of state. So take, for instance, you have somebody who is a Greater Accra regional minister and at the same time minister of defense, for that matter. You'll be left with 3. And 3, we can hand it over to single ministers. All right? So you can give it to one of the biggest, being finance. Finance will be a loan. And you have maybe defense, and you have another 3. But the 16 will double as regional ministers and at the same time ministers of state. Then how do you support them? You support them with the top civil servants who will constitute the bureaucracy. They will support these ministers to deliver. So you have a minister wherever his office will be. If it's in Accra, yes, obviously will be in Accra, but controlling a particular region, and then civil servants assisting him. That creates more room for more civil servants to be employed, trained, so that later they can fill into the shoes of the experienced one. I think that is what I have said over the years. So I'm happy that this Constitutional Review Committee have found it interesting to also take the conversation and not further. It depends, but I don't want 25. I still want the 19.
Doc,
and then out of the 19, you take what? Regional ministers from that, and then no deputies.
Doc, there are those who feel that removing deputies, for instance, will cause a problem in the event that any of these ministers is not available, either because he is under the carpet, under the weather, or is on an assignment elsewhere. I mean, if you look at Article 60, the Constitution is deliberate about the vice president being there when the president is unavailable. And so in the event where these ministers would even be playing double roles and they do not have deputies, in the event that they are unwell or they have to attend to other businesses, what then happens?
With all due respect, they don't know the workings of the ministry, the bureaucracy, how they work. Even without minister, the ministry continue to work under the chief director. So they are the faces of what? The ministry. Except that they are what? Politically neutral. They don't take all the blames and praises and all that. But they do the paid work, all the work they do. And then the minister takes up. Without the ministry, you and I are allied to a situation in this country where Papa Uchiankama acted for 2 ministries. We have seen a number of such issues. And they perform. The other minister was not there. Then they add another one to you and you perform. How do they work the magic? It's just the bureaucracy, the technical officers, the support servants. They will support. Government will come, government will go. These people will be there. Without deficits, I can tell you without fear of contradiction that the bureaucracy will live up to expectations as they've done over the years. So that's it. But we should be careful that this will not also open the floodgates for, government to also smuggle in what? Special assistance, special aid. We don't need all of them. We don't need all of them. Because whatever skill set that we need, the bureaucracy has and has more. Once we depend on that, that's it. That's it. I am also of the view that, fast forward, we need to have bodies that will be attached to, we set them up so that in case of like economic difficulty, we have a group such as like the state sort of think tank that are about 100 people or 60, the number, we can work things out. We will sit down, reflect on if it's economic issue and come out with solutions. So like we going to IMF, you give it to about 100 of them who constitute the body, drawn from, the good news is that we have people who draw salary from government payroll and put them together. I tell you, they will prescribe economic solutions, they will prescribe political solutions, and whatever solution you need. And then, look, they will not even need much money or anything of that sort. For instance, if you put a team together and say we are looking for a political solution for this country, for instance, I'm ready to work without a dime, just that my name will go into the annals of this country that when his country was in difficulty, he also rose up to the occasion. That's all scholarship is all about. So we should also gravitate towards that, so that we have a body that quickly we will fall on them. Advanced countries, they have people like that. So the bodies are there. They fall on them that, hey, what do we do? We are in economic times. What is the way forward? They suggest something, we work with it. That, then we are showing seriousness. But I believe that, yes, what we are talking about is but we should also extend the conversation to the judiciary. Let's place a cap on it. The U.S. Supreme Court is made up of 9 members who sit at a go. They listen to 50 cases a year. Why do we have what? 15. And so what? Saying that there are vacancy for 3 and more. No. We have to do the needful. The U.S. example is that we can look at it where out of the 9 judges have the top lawyers in the state. Some of them are picked and what? They work under each of the Supreme Court judges. Each of them has over 10 crack lawyers who work under it, collect data and help them to write their report. And they listen to 50 cases a year. What it means is that, look, government may come, government may go. A time will come that you don't need to even put anybody in the court because nobody has resigned. And that tells you that, look, you are doing something serious about what? Public affairs. You are ensuring accountability and value for money. Why do you put so many in office? And then when they retire, by their conditions of service, we are supposed to pay them till they die. The payment is not a problem, but the number we can reduce and so pay them. If it is 7, if it is 9, we want to maintain. Let's maintain that and then pay them when they retire till they die.
I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Asa Asante, Senior Political Science Lecturer at the University of Ghana, is also the Executive Director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Now, school fees for 50 tertiary students affected by the flood disaster caused by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam, totaling 110,524.83 cedis, have been cleared in full by the Member of Parliament for the Nocturne constituency, Samuel Okujeto-Ablak, on Sunday, November 12. During a brief ceremony to hand over the various cash amounts to the students, Mr. Okujeto emphasized the necessity of the intervention towards ensuring the education of flood victims from the constituency is not disrupted. There's more in this report by Carlos Coloni.
These 50 flood victims were students from across the Nocturne constituency attending various tertiary institutions in the country, had their personal belongings and livelihoods as well as those of their parents destroyed in the flood disaster occasioned by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. For many of them, paying the academic fees was a major challenge.
I was even thinking of how to go back to school and then settle my bills and other things.
However, during the ceremony where each student was handed a full academic user fee totaling 110,524 cedis 83 pesos, the North Tongue MP Samuel Okujetu Ablakwa highlighted a number of interventions he introduced at the beginning of the flood disaster to ensure student education are not truncated.
Since the disaster, my office has been rolling out a number of interventions and initiatives to alleviate the plight of victims of the floods. In the specific area of education, I have rolled out a number of initiatives which you may have heard about. The first being the mobilization of volunteer teachers to organize classes in the camps, because as you do know, the 21 displaced camps in schools. And what that means is that the children are suffering double displacement or double agony, if you like. So having been displaced from their homes, they are now displaced from their schools. And so we didn't think that it would be responsible on our part to just look on as they lose precious academic time. And so we quickly mobilized volunteer teachers. Some of them are amongst you today. University students, some professional teachers, and we purchased marker boards, markers, TLMs, so that they can be ready for the camp classes. In addition to that, we have provided exercise books, pens, pencils, erasers, sharpeners, school bags, and school shoes for our school pupils and students. We have done all of that so that the students and school pupils can at least catch up and make up for lost time. This is the latest in the series of interventions to help ameliorate your plight, and particularly our students in tertiary institutions.
In addition to paying the full school fees, the MP also provided transportation fares for each student, advising them to avoid deviant behavior and focus on their studies.
Support your transportation to your various destinations, so you are not tempted to touch your school fees. So enough to go around for all of you for your transportation.
Some of the beneficiary students expressed their gratitude to the MP and promised to make the investment worthwhile.
And our MP, Honorable Samuel Okujetu, has paid our school fees for us. I'm paying 1,500 cedis, and this evening he has paid my school fees for me. Thank him very much. God richly bless him.
Basically, this is going to help me continue my education because I have been affected and I've been wondering how I'm going to pay my school fees as well.
Even though floodwaters have receded in some communities at the epicenter of the flood disaster, the after effects of livelihoods and education continue to linger. Carlos Caloni, Joy News.
We're still live on JoyNews Desk. When we return from this break, there is business coming up.
With me ba and Akuto. They are body. I'm a danger. But I am a papa dear woman. A ship.
Miss Mama Kukaman.
Think what of the money, Mamma, what
This is all New Year payment. No family share.
We say, we don't know.
The people know who are there for no.
It's incredible! Bang on target!
The 2023 EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair is more than an exhibition. It's the gateway to your dream home. Don't miss this chance to make informed decisions about every aspect of your living space. Join us at the Accra International Conference Center from Thursday, November 23rd to Sunday, November 26th, 2023. This year, we are diving into the theme of home ownership, exploring the nuances between affordability, comfort, and luxury. We are bringing everything housing under one roof, just for you. See you there. The EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair is in partnership with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and powered by the Planned City Extension Project from Cities and Habitats. Rent to own. And sponsored by Elegant Homes and General Constructions Limited, where quality meets value. Global Lighting, your solution to quality lighting. Syntex Tank, Air Strong, Air Tough. Springfield Estates, where dreams are built. Virtual Security, complete security solution. DBS, your roof experts. Virtual InfoSec Africa, security solutions by design. Saint Gobain, making the world a better plan. Clifton Homes, beautiful homes, wise investments. The Kissington Heights, Airport City, Kumasi, by HDG Homes Limited.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. There are growing concerns about the continuous adoption of conventional farming practices which contribute to the country's degrading soil quality levels. The Ghana Institute of Horticulturists is the latest to join calls against farming methods that tend to negatively affect the soil structure with consummate effects on food and nutrition security. With climate change impacting heavily on agriculture, the group is advocating the uptake of conservatory type of farming known as regenerative agriculture to restore the country's arable lands. Here's more in this report.
Many arable lands in Ghana are continuously eroding owing to poor agricultural practices, mining, infrastructure and urban expansion, illegal logging, overgrazing, among others. With the country's soil erosion level pegged at nearly 40%, the worrying trend of depletion is a threat to agricultural productivity. At its 23rd Annual General Meeting and Scientific Conference, members of the Ghana Institute of Horticulturists were alarmed by the various environmental changes impacting negatively on crop production. Professor Harrison Dapa is a crop scientist.
Temperatures are increasing, there are flooding, so we are not talking of the Volta River flooding, but the natural ones which come out of rainfall, which people's farmers' fields are actually flooded and others. And then we have the environmental increases in pests and diseases all over the place because of the changing environment. And climate change impact is heavily having a huge impact on us. And that is why we're saying that hopefully as we discuss this issue at this particular conference, we'll be able to come up with something that will be able to help farmers fight climate change.
Head of Horticulture Department of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Francis Appiah, is not only worried by the impacts on food security, but also nutrition security. He's advising farmers to employ practices that protect the integrity of the soil.
We have the potential to show the world that it is possible to feed a nation while preserving the environment. We need to keep a balance of feeding the nation through proven practices for yield and quality, and then keeping its health. We can be the torchbearers of regenerative horticulture while not abandoning the known practices with capacity for yield without neglecting quality, setting an example for sustainable practices that can nourish our people and protect our planet.
Themed the sustainable crop production and food security through regenerative agriculture, the scientific conference brought together industry players in the crop production hub. The group is prevailing on the government and other private investors to channel resources into the horticultural sector. Professor Halim Abubakari is president of the Ghana Institute of Horticulturists.
I think what we need now is more investment in best management practices. We've been doing that over the years, and if you look at a lot of the money that goes into regenerative agriculture and sustainable agriculture, they're mainly from NGOs and donor organizations, and we all know that this is not sustainable. So we're calling on investors in Ghana. We know people who are doing investment, and they're investing in real estate, they're investing in manufacturing, but we are thinking that we can also put some money into regenerative horticulture. So we are calling on the investors within the country.
For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright-Quick.
Now, the trade of 100 women shea nut pickers in the northern belt of the country has been given a major boost following donation of shea rollers under the Savannah Integrated Biodiversity Conservation Initiative. Coordinator of the project, Dr. Asa Mohammed, said apart from the shea rollers increasing the picking capacity of the nuts by the women, it would also reduce their health burden. Joining us is Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam has more.
Shea nut is one of the agricultural products with the greatest potential for increasing foreign exchange and employment. There is a growing demand on the world market for shea nuts as well as its byproducts. The shea industry generates employment and income for about 1 million rural women in northern Ghana involved in picking nuts and marketing processed shea kernel and shea butter. Based on the aforementioned and the need to protect the Muri National Park, the University for Development Studies, in partnership with Ghana Wildlife Society, Nature and Development Foundation, and Cooperazione per lo Sviluppo DPC, Emergenti, Onlus, COSPI in Italy, received funding from the European Union to implement a project codenamed Savannah Integrated Biodiversity Conservation Initiative, SIPSI. The project is aimed to import the implementation of sustainable management of the Muri National Park and peripheral areas implemented under the European Union's PABIO program, which aims at sound management of large landscapes of high biodiversity value. Project coordinator for SIPSI, Dr. Asa Mohammed, to shed light on the project.
And this project came from the idea that the Mole Park, sustainable management of the Mole Park has been a challenge in Ghana. And the challenge has always been several attempts to reduce poaching and destruction of the biodiversity of the Mole Park. Then this project came from the idea that sustainable management of the Mole Park would depend on providing alternative livelihood for people whose livelihood depends on the park. particularly the hunters, we call the poachers, and those who do other activities like illegal logging and other activities that are inimical to the park. So in 2009, the idea came, and then we proposed this to the European Union, and the European Union gradually provided funding for 4 years for these activities. 100
women share pickets drawn from Mankurugu in North Gonja, Tantale in Mankurugu Maduri, and Bulenge in the Wise districts were given Shena picking rollers, basins, and cutlass to aid in their work.
Yeah, so this particular equipment that we have given to them to enhance their picking, as we're demonstrating, see that it increases your capacity to pick more than 10 times. So if we are picking 1 bag per year, you have been picking about 10 bags. And by a multiplier effect, you'll be making so much money, because a bag of shea nuts now is about 200 to 400 cedis. And if you can pick more, because of this machine that we are giving to them, in a way, you are enhancing your income as a woman.
All right, and that's it for this segment. The news continues after the break.
The 2023 EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair is more than an exhibition. It's the gateway to your dream home. Don't miss this chance to make informed decisions about every aspect of your living space. Join us at the Accra International Conference Center from Thursday, November 23rd to Sunday, November 26th, 2023. This year, we are diving into the theme of home ownership, exploring the nuances between affordability, comfort, and luxury. We are bringing everything housing under one roof, just for you. See you there. The EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair is in partnership with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and powered by the Planned City Extension Project from Cities and Habitats. Rent to own. And sponsored by Elegant Homes and General Constructions Limited, where quality meets value. Global Lighting, your solution to quality lighting. Syntex Tank, Air Strong, Air Tough. Springfield Estates, where dreams are built. Virtual Security, complete security solution. DBS, your roof experts. Virtual InfoSec Africa, security solutions by design. Saint Gobain, making the world a better plan. Clifton Homes, beautiful homes, wise investments. The Kissington Heights, Airport City, Kumasi, by HDG Homes Limited.
One, two, give it a dance. Let's go. Say hello, with everybody for you. Body just shake bellow.
Your favorite TV game show, Step Up, is back with another amazing season. This time, we are stepping up with Syntex Tank. Step Up with Syntex Tank will see contestants answer questions of their choice and win over 6,000 Ghana Cedis cash prize weekly and other products from our sponsors. This season, viewers at home should watch out for the Syntex Tank question of the week. Be the first to answer correctly via WhatsApp or send SMS to 050-833-8888 and win incredible prizes. The person who answers most of the weekly questions correctly and fastest gets a 65-inch Samsung TV at the end of the season. Step Up with Syntex Tank, showing on Joy Prime every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Sponsored by Bell Ice, MTN Momo, Angel Cola. Powered by Syntex Tank. Joy Prime, your ultimate experience.
That's how we wrap up JoyNews Desk. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. See you again at 12.